Hello, it is Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. I just actually recorded a real-time video that I uploaded to YouTube, but I figured that I'll also maybe record another one that is more um, an actual update on what's going on, or like this is some of the things that I'm thinking about. Um, Yeah, so I had every intention the last few days of getting in front of the camera and recording and uploading, but yeah, just been in my own head about I should do this and I should do that, and the reality is I couldn't do it or not do it. I know that um, everyone out there who's supporting me, you're all good folks. You're all friends. you're not um, you're not condemning me or you know being particularly negative with me about not doing these things. But it, sometimes we could be our own worst enemies, and I think I'm certainly um, guilty of that for myself. So something that's very old for me has been sort of like creeping up, I think, is part of all of this, which is that it's an interesting place for me that I'm trying to balance right now because the particular cancer that I have is pancreatic cancer, which is a gastrointestinal cancer. And so like my digestion is off, and with the chemo sometimes digestion could be really bad. There's like they smell funny, the gaseous and all kinds of stuff is part of this experience for me. And for a while there, and especially right after I received chemo. So maybe like you know days 1 through 4 or something like that. My taste buds are also a little bit off too. So eating is something so I think one thing, if I haven't actually made it clear about myself, and maybe something that is you can maybe tell from the Q&A, is that I'm a big food person. I've always been a big food person. I love food, and like good food doesn't have to be necessarily high-end food, even though there is great high-end food. Just good food. Just love, love, love good food. And and in my in my family, in as many families, but my family, food is love. My mom, I speak with her. She's in Japan, using an app called Line every day. The first thing that she does when she wakes up is that she sends me a picture of herself eating breakfast, and we talk about food. I mean, like food is a big kind of part of my life, and so the fact that like when I started chemo, they really didn't tell me about sort of the restrictions or about like dietary things that I should look out for. They didn't do any of that, and I just been finding out different things on my own of just things to watch out for and things, which have been really hard because one of the things that often is considered not to be recommended is like eating sushi, and I love sushi. I love um, good sushi, and I haven't had sushi now in a bunch of months. But I have a little bit of a break between chemos, and so my immune system probably should be back in a pretty relatively good place in the next week or so. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna have a very nice sushi dinner in the next week or so. Um, 'Cause I don't know when I could maybe have that again. But anyway, um, rambly as I often am. I think that during the holidays, I've just been really treating myself to food, and especially in the last week or so, just been like thinking about all these things that I would like to eat, and so like cooking them up and just experimenting with flavors. But there's, I guess, like I also had like a bunch of sweets and things like that, and I can tend to be a little bit of a sugar addict, and so that kind of like fires up my brain to want to have like different kinds of sweets. Just talking to my mom because she's a sweet hound too, and I was just saying to her, you know, I must have gotten this from you from the in utero, because I'm sure when she was pregnant with me, she must have eaten every kind of sweet under the sun, because I love sweets. And so does she. Every morning she sends me a picture and she's eating something sweet for breakfast. It's crazy. But anyway, so yeah, so I've been eating a lot and not moving that much. I mean, you know, lockdown, and I have like this cold sensitivity. It's tough to get outside because I mean, it's not tough to get outside, but it's just a tough time to if there's, you know, we have a lockdown here in Toronto, so we're, you know, trying to keep away from people and stuff like that. And on top of that, like my condition and all that kind of stuff, it's just a tough thing to keep active and all that. So I'm eating a lot, enjoying what I'm eating. I'm actually digesting the stuff that I'm eating, which is really great. And so there's also a part of me mentally where I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing this while I can, because I don't know when that's going to change. So I'm eating, I'm cooking, I'm experimenting. I'm actually having a lot of fun doing that. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm eating a whole lot. I'm not really moving that much, which isn't great. Um, and then that my old kind of like stuff kicks in about weight and how I should know better and blah, all that kind of stuff. So that's another thing that I've been sort of like dealing with the last couple of weeks, I think. But you know, the flip side of that is that it's good that I'm not that I'm digesting well, and that I'm like tolerating foods and things like that. Again, after chemo, I lose a little bit of my taste, my ability to be able to taste great or taste well. That sucks. I hate that. Um, but you know, what can I do? Um, but yeah, so that's one of the things I've been dealing with the last couple of weeks. But I got to tell you, I mean, sometimes it's a bit of a challenge because I have some neuropathy. It hasn't been that bad this time. Last time it was so cycle. This is currently I'm in the tail end of cycle 5. Cycle 4 was tough with my neuropathy, um, and it seems to be okay with you know, just with like cell phones and touch and things like that. But like keyboard stuff, cooking, eating. Sometimes like minute sort of like hands, like, you know, so if I'm holding a utensil, like I'll be shaking, especially if I had done some cooking because there was some, you know, work that I had to do and like, you know, stirring up or getting together or, you know, chopping, stuff like that. And that can be challenging sometimes. Just have to, you know, slow myself down and just let myself know that I have time. I don't need to rush through anything. But yeah, that's part of, you know, everything that I've been dealing with. But it's an interesting thing right now because food and nourishing myself and giving myself that level of enjoyment or pleasure is something that I can count on. It's something that I can control. It's something that I'm sort of like completely immersed in right now. And but again, these old kind of like feelings come up around like gaining weight and not being good for you, and you're like, you know, you're doing things that like eating too much and eating too many sweets and all this kind of stuff. So always the yin and yang of that. But that's one of the things that I've been dealing with. In addition to, I guess, yeah, just like allowing myself just to be tired when I'm tired. and I've been tired a lot. Because the fatigue is a real thing. Like this tiredness is a real thing. Um, and because of the tiredness, I'll do something for a little bit, which really, in my mind, is like just something a regular person would do, and it shouldn't tire me out, but it does. And it's almost like a one-to-one thing. If I'm doing something for 15 minutes, I'll need another 15 minutes, maybe even sometimes more, just to chill out and get some level of energy again. Then I'll maybe go and do something else, and then I'll get tired again, all that kind of stuff. So figuring out energy expenditures and all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, so I figured I'll share that with you. Joe and I decided to get a subscription for Disney Plus. We've been kind of like, it's been months and months and months. We've been going back and forth about it. But I actually really am enjoying Disney Plus, and we burned through the 2 seasons of Mandalorian. I really enjoyed The Mandalorian. I thought that it was really, really great. I think Joe liked it, and he certainly, I think, liked it more than like the last set of movies. I haven't seen the last two of the Star Wars movies, so there's some canon stuff that I have, is sort of lost on me. So trying to get kind of like caught up, or kind of like fill in the gaps of some of that stuff. But I think Mandalorian as its own thing, really great. And there's also other stuff on Disney Plus too, which I'm really, really enjoying, like a lot of documentaries and things like that. And I tend to be very picky about the kind of stuff that I like to watch. And Disney, Disney does what Disney does, which is these like straightforward, like storytelling that is very sort of like more, black and white, not a whole lot of violence and all those kinds of things. Like it's very predictable, and something that I appreciate. So far, Disney Plus is something that we're like, I at least I'm very much enjoying, and specifically the Mandalorian series has been great. So just thought I'd share that with you. Any other recommendations I might have in case you might be interested. I'm sure many of you out there maybe have already seen it, but yeah, like really, really great. And didn't know anything about the actor Pedro Pascal. Been learning a little bit about him, and he's been kind of a fun person to learn about. So that's been great as well. But anyway, that's another rambly update from me. Again, this is Tuesday, January 5th, 2020. I am pretty happy that this week I don't have appointments really. There are certain things that are getting. I have like nurses coming in now to sort of deal with the different things that I have going on. So I don't have to go anywhere for appointments, even though they drop off supplies and they have to pick up stuff, and that has like appointments, and that's weird. But at least I'm at home for that. So there's that. But apart from that, like this week is pretty clear in terms of not having appointments, which is actually a relief. The nurse is coming in, I think, in the next couple of days. But apart from that, like, relief. So that's what's going on for me. I hope that you're having a good start to your new year, and that you're keeping safe, you're taking care. And chef's kisses based on all this like food stuff that I've been talking about. Maybe I'll share some of the food stuff that I've been thinking about and doing in the last little while. I've had some taste tests just for myself, just like cooking like one recipe in 3 different ways to see how I like them best, all that kind of stuff. Maybe if you're interested, I can share some of that stuff. I don't know. Yeah, so that's what's going on. Please, please, please take good care of yourself, and take care of those around you, those who you care about, because that's the stuff. That's the important stuff, That's what we're trying to do over here on our end too. So take good care, and thank you so much for your kind, generous support. and you're thinking about me, and and all, yeah, everything. I really appreciate it, and I will keep recording. I will keep going, and I will talk to you again real soon. Bye.